Well, guess what? I have here two of the most accessible OTFs you're going to find for two main reasons. One is that these come in at 3 inches on the dot from the handle to the tip, making them very, what's it called, carryable, I guess, in areas where you may have blade length restrictions. So that's number one. The second is cost. MSRP on these SCHRADE UPROARs is $100 MSRP. $100. And no, they don't have some stupid, like, no-name, you know, trash steel you've never heard of, like, I don't know, 40 CR, whatever, 5 CR, 7 CR, you know, 13 MOV or whatever, 17 MOV, bullcrap steel. These are D2 steel blades that MSRP for $100 and have all that. Now, we're gonna hit that with these double action blades. Same kind of profile, one's a little bit more tactical, one's a little less. And we're gonna find out today which of these two Mrs. Gideonstactical has commandeered as her main EDC. And what pocket knife are you carrying? But also, I have one variant, that first blade, that also comes in right around that same size and price range that I'll be running in as a competitive option to really unpack what the UPROAR series brings to the table and what it doesn't. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thanks so much for hanging with me. You regular viewers, you rock. I cannot wait to hang out with you and unpack these blades. This is Gideonstactical, and I am Aaron. Let's dive in. All right, let's get to that beautiful blade action. That's probably why you're interested in these knives, because of the action. Otherwise, just get a normal pocket knife. You want to know how well it operates and functions. And what's super cool is that these are actually assembled here in the United States out of both domestic and foreign parts, which is sick. And in the box, it states that they, you know, like independently, after they've assembled it, you know, they don't just like throw it in the box. They actually like test it to make sure that from the factory, these are running as they should, which is just a nice little kind of added feature to see on a budget-friendly, you know, high-value, we're going to find out, you know, high-performing tool. So here we go. Here's the thumb ramps on both. They protrude. They got jimping. Here's what's great. Excellent push. Very ergonomic. Super easy, guys. Super easy to use. And I have to say, I own, actually previously, I gifted it to my brother-in-law, Microtech Ultratech. If you were to ask me between that activation switch and this activation switch and the tension, this is a better switch and tension. No joke. And that's fully, I got a Microtech sent to me. I got one of these sent to me. That's how I felt, and we can watch that original video. The action is awesome and really gives you a little bit of purchase there, and they're relying more on geometry than traction. That's what was wrong with that Microtech. The geometry, because it's light jimping right there, protrudes and makes it a really good forward motion. The Ultratech has a lower button, but they're relying on the super gnarly traction of the switch. So phenomenal in that regard. Very easy to manipulate and use, both for, you know, people with smaller hands, but also with mine. And obviously, because it's that, you know, double action type of thing here. Boom. You know, if you hit something, it falls off the track, no problem. You can literally just one-handed whip that out, not even touch the blade, and keep on running. So great. Have done impact testing, you know, hitting it on the, you know, hard surfaces to make sure that it doesn't, you know, like damage the track or anything like that. The hardware on there, you know, is just a Torx bit, so you can easily disassemble if you need to. Now, as we look at blade shapes, because there is definitely a difference in the tactical version and then the non-tactical version, I do want to invite you guys, if you're getting value out of this video, to like and subscribe. Make sure to hit the bell icon so you can be notified every week when I put up new videos just like this. And it's always sad when you have to retire a beloved piece of gear, but I recently had to do that with my Salomon XA Forces boots. They've been with me for a few years now, and it was time to update them. And thankfully, LA Police Gear is having a closeout deal going on right now on XA Forces shoes. So I have used these extensively and seeing their performance for these last couple years on multiple backpacking trips, more day hikes than I can count, and just daily living. They have been performing so well for me, and with the Gore-Tex lining offering a level of waterproof capability that is almost unmatched. And so I will have a link popping up here as well as in the description box below this video over to the LA Police Gear website, where you can explore all the different features that these boots offer and check out all the different boots, including the Salomons that they have, and score yourself a pair before they're gone. Now, blade shapes. We have here the bayonet version on the black-handled non-tactical, quote-unquote, version. I mean, still very stabby, piercy, but you're going to get that saber grind. It's a low grind. I'm trying to remember. Let's see if my battery still works. It's been cold out here in the garage. Oh, yep, just barely. Let me double check. Yeah, eighth of an inch thick blade. Unsharpened on the top, so you got kind of that classic bayonet style. Unsharpened, this is the more legal of the two, and will definitely do most utility. If you're looking more for utility and piercing, that's really where this one's going to shine, and be just a little less aggressive, you know, in its capabilities. More focused on everyday carry. If that's what you are looking at with some self-defense applications, that's probably the model you want to go with, and definitely does the job. But it is a low, you know, little saber grind basically, so it's not going to slice like a full flat that's an eighth of an inch thick. I mean, it's not going to slice your spider codes or things like that. Now on the flip side here, we have the tactical version, which is basically split 50-50. You have an inch and a half of serrated on either side, and then you have an inch and a half of plain, and it is a full dagger style. So edged on both sides. Make sure you know your legal, you know, rules and all that type of stuff, depending on what you're carrying, what you're doing. Obviously, this is, if you're going through like a lot of cordage and you just want to pierce, that's where this one is just going to shine. It's going to eat up the cordage. Obviously take a little bit more difficulty to resharpen when those serrated teeth finally do kind of start to dull on you, but you do have this nice piercing tip as well that you can still, you know, cut through some packaging, cardboard, obviously, those type of things like that, but this is definitely more of the aggressive piercing, and then going through like rope and cordage is really where I saw the major value in that. And then along with that, you're obviously getting the coyote tan on those anodized aluminum handle scales, and then you do get a glass breaker on the back pommel right there. You're not going to get that on the one-edged, single-edged version. Now, the screw, it is really nice to see that these are ambidextrous. You can swap these right or left, which is great that they didn't overlook that. And then the pocket clips themselves are really well done. You know, they're large, they have decent tension, but are flexible enough to get over like reinforced tactical pants. We see that a lot with certain OTFs where the pocket clips are kind of an afterthought, too small. The live wire, I feel like, is kind of like that from Kershaw. This is a better pocket clip, in my opinion, for a lot of different applications, especially like duty pants, that type of thing. So great in that regard. And gives you two options, but these are not going to be like, oh, I can do tons of food prep, and oh, I can do just tons of utility all day long. They're stabbing first, slicing second, right? I mean, that's what these type of knives usually are designed to do. It's rare that you'll find one that doesn't. Now, on these handle scales, how does that fit and how does that work out? Handles, they fill out great on both of my hands. When we measure them up on my little mat here, we're looking at like 4 1/4 on the handle scales is about what we're looking at for both. And this mat is super sick. Great gift idea. Magnetized corners, lots of different trays. I'll have a link popping up if you're interested in that. This is a good little holiday gift too, for those who might be interested in that. So for me and my large size hands, now it's definitely on the smaller side, but you can see there I have full purchase. Now if I start to get back here, that's where I start to almost turn it into a 3-finger knife if I'm using the push button as like my tactile point. That's where, but if I'm using it, and this is where again, like the utility side, that flat portion that they gave you right there is perfect for your thumb with my large size hands to then do a push cut. So that's really where that shines and really, you know, functions well. Whereas on this guy, you know, obviously I'd be biting right into that serrated tooth right there. So, but if I just do a hammer grip, you can see how well that is. And for this style of an OTF, you know, gives you a lot of traction, easily get your thumb over. So if you're doing a reverse stab, you're able to do that. And then they've done well with all the tactile points. These are not sharp. They're nice and rounded and kind of thick and blocky, which is good. And then the tactile points on the sides. No contouring. It just the corners are kind of rounded a little bit, but you get some good texture there. So I would say I would give it a 60% tactile grip. You know, it's not super like grippy and like a huge guard or anything like that, but you definitely have a good purchase on it. Bam, for a stab, and especially in a reverse grip. Now, let's find out which one Mrs. GT really carries before we hit some competitive options, pricing, as I highlighted earlier, and a few final thoughts. All right, Mrs. GT, we just got done with our walk. And what pocket knife are you carrying in your little crossbody body bag? That's what I call it.
I'm carrying the bayonet version of the SCHRADE.
Nice.
And I like the simplistic design of it. And the reason I like it better than others is because of the manipulation. As you can see, it's very easy for me to use it and open and close it versus other knives that Aaron gives me. It's really hard for me to manipulate and open and close. Usually I have to use 2 hands and my fingers aren't strong enough to open it. So.
And you're like always freaking out. You're gonna like cut yourself or cut like, you know.
Yeah.
Something wrong is gonna happen. This, super simple, straightforward.
Right.
And you can manipulate it. So
yes.
You've had that in that purse for probably 6 months.
Yeah.
So awesome. So there you have it. She absolutely loves it, and right now it's her go-to. Partly just because of all the things that she highlighted, but I know a lot of it is just the ease of deployment for her. Whereas for a lot of pocket knives, you know, she's really got to work with it, and this just gives her really fast action, and she can use it in a lot of different roles if necessary. And I'm glad that she's really been enjoying it. So $100. I think I actually saw them on sale for like 90 over on their site, you know, and who knows where the prices go. SCHRADE did not in any way sponsor this video. They just sent me 2 samples. You know, they were like, hey, these are coming out. Are you interested? I was like, yep. So they sent them to me months and months ago, and I really wanted to put them through the ringer and really keep them for a while to make sure that these were holding up well for that price. So you may be like, well, what was that first one that you saw? Because you may really like the blade shape, and I really get that. This is a sick blade shape. This is the SOS Mayhem from SOS Knives. Pick this up through Blade HQ, $100 as well. D2 steel. I don't know. I'll try to annotate it in. I can't remember where I got this from. Where it's manufactured. I'm sorry. Where it's manufactured. So this is not ambi, just to give you an example. So this is not an ambi blade, but the action has been good. The grind is definitely better for utility, and I really like the profile of it. That's why I wanted to get it. Right around that same blade length. Really cool design. They have a couple different designs to go with. They're using, again, geometry, and that's really what I've been looking for more recently is, are they using geometry or texture to give you grip on the blade? So way more functional as an EDC knife. Here's the problem that I have. I hate the handle. The handle grip is really bad. They give you these tactile points, but because of how small it is, I feel like this is where I want to hold it because they give you this cut in, this big blocky portion. It just feels weird to be up here. I can do it. If they had just given you the cut in and not then raised this hump out here out the back, this is really what throws it off for me. So I end up kind of holding it like this most of the time in a 3-fingered grip. When I want to hold it like that, it just feels weird because my 2 inner fingers are floating and then my 2 outer are resting on these 2 shoulders. So this whole bottom portion is the problem. If they had done it like this, you know, with just 1 drop and then kept it, the ergonomics would have been better and I probably would have liked it more. I mean, for small OTF for $100 or less, it still has a lot of functionality, and the blade is going to function better because of the grind than these for general utility. But ergonomically, I think the SCHRADEs have a leg up for sure. But that is a viable option that you could look into. I've been very impressed and very pleased with what SCHRADE has brought to the market. Leave a comment below if you own an UPROAR. How has it been performing for you? Really look forward to hearing your guys' thoughts and feedback on this series. And I hope that this video has been informative, but also entertaining, giving you guys the data you need to make a wise choice on if the UPROAR is worth throwing in your guys' rotation or not. Until next time, check out the other videos, subscribe if you haven't, and I already said that, but until next time, always remember to stay equipped, stay prepared. I'll see you out there.